one of the things that keep you up at night is ensuring that the employees are, one, able to sustain their own lives and their families, and not just necessarily, financial statements and these different things, but, sometimes you have to show a history.
I believe that if some sort of business would come up with some sort of idea for small businesses to be consultants for them, to be, their gatekeepers, because nobody's really gatekeeper for SMEs. They may have finances and they don't know how it is to really open up a business account. They don't know.
Yeah, so we do have LinkedIn. They can contact us via our phone numbers, of course, the website, the number and everything's on the website.
Hi, Andrea.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great, and yourself?
Good.
Awesome. So being a business owner, what are some of the challenges that you've been faced with personally?
So as a business owner, I think that challenges come in many forms. And as a business owner, especially if you have employees like myself, one of the things that keeps you up at night is ensuring that the employees are, one, able to sustain their own lives and their families, they're paid on time and all of that. So some of the challenges really is ensuring that they keep ahead of the market, ahead of technology, ahead of abreast of what the competition is doing, because that also impacts your ability to drive your own revenue. Yeah, and also ensuring that your team is abreast of what is happening, because they run the organization. As the owner, as the CEO, you sit at the top, but they run the organization. I would say some of the other challenges starting off as a small business or as an entrepreneur is the financing support. It's critical because there are certain things that banks expect you to have, that any financial institutions expect you to have, and as a small business, you may not have some of that. And not just necessarily, financial statements and these different things, but, sometimes you have to show a history, right? You have to show a history of transactions and funds coming into the business and all of that. And if you're starting off and you're brand new, you don't have those things. Yeah?
And like for myself, I have a business account years ago, and I pivoted because I used to sell women clothes. So my business named Antonio's Unique Apparel. And I decided, hey, since with the pandemic, let me transition into sales and marketing, offering that service.
Right.
So I went back to my bank and I said, look, I have my company registration with the service that I provided presently, and I want now a business account for this service.
Right.
And I was denied it. So what I did, and it's nothing illegal, I just utilized the business name that I already have registered in the bank itself. And let companies know this is like the better company. So when it is that they are issuing a check for me, I just use that business name that I have existed.
Right. So again, that brings me to a point, right? And it is something I see with a lot of our smaller clients, because we do consultancy for small businesses and entrepreneurs who are starting up, who are trying to understand how to get from one stage to the next. And so in your situation, what you could have probably done was do a change of name. So the business remains the same business with the bank, same company, but there's just a name change now, and they would have given you...
They said that I need to produce my financials all over again.
Right, but then it's the same company. So if you had financials with the first company, or registered under the first company, and you change the company's name, then all of it is still one company.
Well,
right?
That particular institution, financial institution, didn't mention anything like that, but I proposed that to them and I was denied. So I just, utilized my existing business account. I may say maybe different banks, they may operate differently, I don't know.
No, certainly.
But it makes sense what you are saying.
Certainly.
But they just want my financials to be produced because they're saying that this will be a new business, so they want to see new financials for that business in order to have my business account.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. And I think one of the challenges as well is the fact that information is so fragmented.
Correct.
So there's no one place to go and find out what's going on. There's so many things that is not standardized. So one bank, of course, they have their own policies, their own structures. My company, before it was Anai Caribbean, it was Anai Business Solutions. And I just did the name change at Legal Affairs, got an updated certificate, right? And I took that to the bank, and we were able to, well, they didn't change the name right away, but it is the same company. So everything just flowed inward. But I think that there isn't sufficient information, or I should say it's not easy to access. And even when you call an institution, one person may tell you, well, this is the way it's done. And then another person may say, well, no, we can't do it. So what do you keep going back and forth. And as a small business owner, you don't have the capacity in terms of your time. Your time is so limited because oftentimes small businesses, the CEO is also doing finance, doing HR, doing the operations, and doing all these things. So for you to go and spend time going to the bank, getting information here, wrong information, then you have to go back again, and to have that time.
So who is really guiding small businesses?
Yes.
I believe that if some sort of business would come up with some sort of idea for small businesses to be consultants for them, to be, their gatekeepers, because nobody's been a gatekeeper for SMEs.
Well, and Antonio, this is what we do, right? This is what we do. So I'll tell you, when I started Anai, it was because of a passion for change, right? I have a passion for change. I have a passion for development and a passion to see things grow. And I had a friend that had about 10 PH cars on the road. And, he could not understand why he still did not have money. So at the point I asked him, well, what do you do with the money when you get it? What do you, how do you manage it? And there was no system. There was no structure. And I told him, what you need to do is register a business. He had no idea how to do it. I took it. I registered the business. I built out his business plan. We did his financials from cash flow projections all the way down. We built out the systems for him to manage his revenue, manage his expenses, manage his inventory, and we set up the business. Coming from that, he would have had several other persons that would have he would have shared his experience with, and they then reach out. So I continued doing this and just helping entrepreneurs. Someone came with a t-shirt company. They had this idea to have a t-shirt company, and I walked them through the process, got them registered, set up their BIR numbers, and all these different things. And it's about almost 2 years after doing that, I said, but you are doing this out of passion and love. Maybe you should get your business registered. And that's when I started Anai. And so while we have grown into doing a lot more than just doing that bridging for small companies and supporting entrepreneurs in taking their business from one stage to the next, it is something that we're very close to. And so Anai has evolved now into, we have a legal arm. So we support companies from the incorporation right down to contracts, have them draft contracts, manage the contracts, as well as any other legal type documentation. And apart from the legal support, because that's where a lot of companies, a lot of small businesses, to go to a lawyer, it's going to cost you a pound and a crown, and you cannot afford that. Every cent you make is to either go back into your business to try and grow that business. So we've come up with solutions that is designed for entrepreneurs and small businesses to support their growth, right? Which is critical, but it's something that's really near to my heart.
I could feel that passion. Energy is transferable, and since when I came into the room, I feel that energy where it is that you really want to help persons, and you hit the nail on the head. Many small business owners, they may have finances, and they don't know how it is to really open up a business account. They don't know that they need a business account in order to get a loan. So that they grow the business from a small business to a medium, and then maybe eventually a large business. So that's where you step in.
Yes.
And that is critical in our environment in Trinidad, and I would say extension the Caribbean, because in Trinidad we are the America of the Caribbean region, and then other small islands, they may not be so equipped as us. So we could tap into so many different countries and not just be small in our Trinidad and Tobago island.
Correct. And the thing is, I like to say growing businesses,
Yes.
right?
Don't say your
Because
business small.
yeah,
Never.
please
Yeah.
don't say that your business is small.
Understood.
Your business starts there.
Yeah.
That's not where it's going to end.
No.
Every large organization have started as a smaller company. That's where you start. But from the masses all the way back. So consider your business a growing SME, if you want to say it like that.
Yeah.
You have a growing organization, a growing business, a growing company, even if you start with just yourself or one person. But one of the challenges that small businesses face is understanding the systems and the structures that need to be put in place in the company, even from the corporate structure, right? How do you set up your corporate structure?
Business plan.
Your business plans, your strategic plans. How do you build those things? Because that guides your business. I meet so many small companies that will tell you, well, no, I don't have a plan. It's in my head. Oh.
No, everything needs to be written down. It's supposed to be entered into your computer system so that you can store it and you can refer to it.
Correct. And then you have the right systems in place. And the other thing that I see with small businesses is the when we speak about systems, financial structures.
Yes.
So ensuring that your finances are managed properly, and not just managed, but there is whether it be a QuickBooks or some system that supports that. There are so many grants out here for small businesses,
Yes,
and I encourage people to do that.
Last year. So many.
But the challenge with these grants is that to access these grants, your business has to have, for example, your financial statements. A lot of companies, small companies, they don't know how to do these. Or even if they do it, it's not done properly, right? So your financial statements and all these things has to be in order, right? So these are some of the support that we provide, because for a business to move from one stage to the next, it has to also, it's like a baby. For a baby to grow, to move from one stage to the next, there are certain formulas that you give that baby. And then when that child now reaches toddler or whatever stage, there's a different formula. And as they grow, right? And it's the exact same things with businesses.
And I think small businesses, SMEs, they don't even know when it is that they are making a profit, because the owner of the business is the accountant,
yes,
the HR director, and so forth. So, like, for example, some people who saying that a links machine is so costly because the bank takes out of each transaction. You don't know if it is that you obtain a links machine at the end of the month, so many persons coming with their cards to pay, that if you really growing or hurting your business. So all these things that business owners, SMEs, don't know about.
It's correct. That's correct. And growing a business is fun.
Definitely.
One thing just this week, I was reminding another small business, and saying a small business, or let me say a growing business, right? Still in its infant stage, that you need to pay particular attention to the things that you implement in your business, right? You need to pay particular attention, even things like bringing in machines and stuff. You need to ensure that you can measure the impact that these things are having on your business, right? At the end of the day, money in, if you say money comes in and you say money goes out, you don't make a profit. We are in business to make a profit. We're not in business to generate revenue, to make a profit. If you generate revenue and your costs not managed, you're not going to make a profit, right? So how long are you going to say, I broke even? The business is still running, it's still alive, but you're not generating a profit. So we always say that we help customers reduce their costs and increase their revenue. That is the way you make profits.
And what are some of the ways that SMEs, businesses, can reach out to you? Because you may have a website, yes, but what sort of other methods that they could contact you by?
Yeah, so we do have LinkedIn. They can contact us via our phone numbers, of course. The website, the number, and everything's on the website. Or I can leave the contact information with you. You can post it up after. That's not a problem. And we'd be more than willing to have some conversations around how we can support and how we can help. And there is no one fix. And when I say that, meaning that we understand that every company is different. every business is different. The structure would require a different intervention. So our first process is to do the analysis. Before you can come up with the solution to the problem or the right intervention, you must analyze it.
And you know what I think is a pain point with SMEs, like prospecting to them? Ask that tough question. Are you looking to grow or stay stagnant?
Yes.
If anyone says that they want to stay stagnant, something is wrong with them.
Well, if they want to stay, some people are in a comfortable area, and if they want to stay and they're good where they are, then by all means proceed. But it just means that, you have to know what effort you put out now with the company.
Times changing, like no one would have ever thought the pandemic would come. So if you want to stay stagnant and then the pandemic comes on you, your business will demolish.
Yeah.
So like you need to be open-minded when it comes to business, because market change, trends change.
Yes.
And if you don't keep up to the time, well.
Yes. And one of the things we always drive is build a company that is resilient and sustainable. Build sustainability measures into your business from very early on. Because you're right, we never know what is coming next. And because of that uncertainty, for example, what is happening in the US right now, there is no telling exactly how that is going to unfold and what is the true impact it may have on Trinidad and on our economy and on our businesses, right? So you need to build a business that is resilient. And there's a number of ways to do that, which we'll be more than willing to go deeper into, right? There's a number of ways to build a resilient business.
And that's what I love about your business, because selling a product is awesome, but selling a service is really great because you unlimited. You don't necessarily have to wait on product. If product shortage is there, you don't have that product shortage.
Yeah.
You have service quality that to focus on, and you can help anyone, and your overheads may not be that huge compared to someone who is selling a product.
Yeah, I do believe that we're here to serve.
Definitely.
We're here to serve.
I think that excellence is the key.
Yes.
So anything that you'd like to mention to persons who have that business that in the infant stage, that you may want to give some sort of recommendation or recommendations per se?
Sure. My recommendation would be, do not wait too late to put the correct structures and systems in your business. For your business to scale, you must have these structures in place. When business grows and it grows quickly, and then you try to put structures and systems in place, right, it can become problematic. So as much as you can put, these things in place, ensure that your corporate structure is outlined, you have your finance in order, you have your different systems and processes, do it as early as possible, because that is how businesses scale. Yeah.
And thank you for your valuable time.
Thank you.
Was extremely valuable, and I know persons, if you want to contact Ms. Andrea, the information will be up on social media platforms, and feel free to reach out to myself or to Andrea.
Thank you.